people don't understand what's going to truly happen here in the political environment, in our world, in our society. What we got to understand is that karma is coming. The 400-year massive slavery had ended about a year ago, or maybe a little over that. But we got to understand that this thing is also spiritual, not just political, because politics is so smart. They're connected to all spiritual, all religions, and they're connected to the philosophical existence of mankind in every which way. And they themselves understand. Even the white race is dying off. A house against itself will not stand. We know that to be a real karma. That is the science of something that's divided that's supposed to be united. And this is going to be the example of that. We built this house, America. We suffered in it. And also, there were people who brought us here in a very inhumane way to do it and to benefit. So we built the house together and have not had the experience to be united in terms of freedoms, our choices, chances, rules, laws, and legislation. This is all a society that's of against itself, inside against itself in a communist way and in treasonous. There's a time for the society to pay as well as a person will pay in terms of karma. We all believe that the science and energy connects people and we're made from energy. And the universe itself is energy and power and source. That's how we get fire. Fire, energy, comes from water and fire. We are energy. What happens in terms of us being an intelligent being, we are a little bit even above energy. We're spirit. And because of this situation that has not been corrected among the black community, I live in a time where now we see Babylon is starting to turn on itself in terms of way by constitution, socially, also way by wars and catastrophe, in terms of global warming, in terms of its own natural source, its own very existence. You cannot make people inhumane and turn around and use them in an inhumane way, and turn around and give other people the advances in their faces as though they should starve as the same as you are as a people. So you're going to suffer, and it's going to happen, and I'll be more specific. White supremacy will turn on itself. The police are starting to go down. They're not wanting it to happen, and it's not totally looking like it to everybody, but I'm looking at it. I'm doing my assessment. They're going to turn on itself. The nation is going to turn on itself. The people that the nation that let people come here to better themselves in the face of wrongdoing and in the face of cowardly and not true achievement and not true integrity and true order, it's going to go downhill. It's going to all explode. So black folks, just continue to talk, continue to warn, but this nation it's got to come from the top and the bottom. It's got to come from the outsource of power because of in which the way it has been enriched. And that means it has reign power in terms of our suffering, in terms of someone is suffering, in terms of a nation suffering. And that means black people. Not only black people, but white people who are not educated about slavery and about how people suffered and suffer in this nation in terms of its original sin and how it truly exists. So this nation has suffered and it's outcrying right now. The warning signs are coming. The black media is warning the public, but we're warning black people first. However, the public is being warned in a way in which where they have been warned so that they are ignoring us to even give other people things that do not share our history inside the society in our faces by government with our tax dollars as children of prisoners of war and as people of prisoners of war in terms of servitude and economic crisis and economic servitude and slavery, industrial, by not being corrected in which why you were here and enslaved and as a descendant. This is the real science. And it will show, in terms of my speaking right now, it will show soon and not later than that this is going to happen, and it's already started. Actually, as a matter of fact, in New York City and other places like that, and these hurricanes coming and different fires and different things of white supremacy being so angry and outraged, they were killing each other's families, blowing each other's up, and actually turning on each other. White women being harmed by these race soldiers because now they're going back into the history of in which how they believe as a pillaging group and all the tactics they use and the fear tactics, and that's not to even let their women be citizens. You got to understand what's going on with the people that have a birthright. As a black people who we have a birthright, which whatever we connect to in terms of relation or by birth scientifically, it comes out to be a black situation. It comes out to be that. There's a black people that is from global diaspora all around the world who is yet not still in favor of the advances of safety because of not being the American Negro. We're talked about biblically. We are the children of Israel. We are the people who suffer. So this is what has happened to us. And globally, black people suffer. But let's talk about this. And if you look deeply into it, and as peculiar as it exists, the American Negro has been the world slave. Every country has slaves, yes, we know historically, but every country did not win according to slavery and has not produced what slavery has produced inside the diaspora of the United States, history of the world, in terms of what it has been scientifically and by number and by fact and document. Where people come to where we have been prisoners of war and who suffer now for a dream of life and actually do execute that dream in front of us. This is the real situation, and we're very peculiar. Black people is more global. Globally, there's more black people in the universe. However, are in the global diaspora. There are, but nobody claims to be that which we call black in the United States in terms of what it means to be the apparatus of wealth of this country and the world's dream. You see, we have to know who we are. And that's the problem. We have not really been looked at who we are. It's like that we're in the matrix in terms of being unastute, politically unastute, and neophytes. However, there's a bigger and better and brighter thing above and around the situation that's around politics, where a nation has outcried to itself and in itself of correction, where people have been crying out and have suffered long enough in terms of this treasonous act and inhumane exchange and um, very heinous practice against my people, the blood legacy of my family, of my bones, which you can get into description of, and it can go on in very grotesque ways in terms of us suffering, but offering the world and society a comfortability. This is not going to continue, and you will remember this talk, and it will be historic. It will be historic, and this is not going to continue. The nation is falling. We're going to be leaders in this nation. Remember, the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Remember, we're going to be leaders. Prepare ourselves. We're the most affluent black person in the global diaspora. We have made this country rich, and we have built a dream for the world to take as an example through the apparatus of wealth and suffering as a people. Thank you for joining me, everyone. This is the Black Power um, media apparatus. The black media is listening. The black society is at large in terms of communicating. And we're not stopping. Thank you for joining me.